So today we would like to talk about the Zendesk approach to the collaboration between localization, product, and engineering. However, before we do so, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Ketty Tirrito. I'm a team lead in the localization team based in Dublin, EMEA. And when I don't work on localization at Zendesk, I really like to learn about other languages and cultures. And I love traveling. And if I was asked what are the two favorite things in the world for me, I'd probably say plants and pizza. Sirisha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ketty. Hello, everyone. My name is Sirisha Neduri. I'm a senior localization quality engineer at Zendesk, based in Seattle, United States. I love cooking and trying new things. That's my happy place. Traveling is another of my favorite things to do. And recent hobby that I started during pandemic is growing my own little food in my own little backyard garden. So let's see what's Zendesk. Zendesk has a cloud-based CRM application. Zendesk was built on a simple idea to create customer service solution, which was easy to use and accessible to everyone. So we expanded on that idea with a growing number of products that work together to improve customer relationships and can be embedded and extended with open development platforms. The evolution of Zendesk. So Zendesk was founded in 2007 in Copenhagen, Denmark, by three friends, Morten Primdal, Mikael Swan, and Alexander Agasipur. It shifted its headquarters to San Francisco in 2009, and by 2014, it grew internationally with 600 plus employees. As of 2021, we have 6,000 employees and 112,000 and counting more customers, supporting 30 plus UI languages.
Thank you. So the topics we'll be looking at today are, first of all, some introductions about the globalization and the engineering teams, to give you an idea of where the two teams are based and how they, to frame how they work together. We will then present some of the challenges of these collaboration, and we'll also go through three main category of solutions, which we grouped under engaging, supporting, and teaming up. So first of all, what is globalization? So the globalization at Zendesk, it's made of two teams, the internationalization ITN team, which is the engineering side of localization, and the localization team responsible for the delivery of localized content. The overall objective of the team is to invest in scalability, flexibility, and automation to serve the customer's international needs. We've already seen on a screen where is the globalization team located. It's located across 4 continents, 5 countries, and 10 different time zones, which makes for very fun team meetings. It's 24 people, and we speak 12 languages, most of them over 12 languages, most of them, most of which natively. Next slide. The globalization team, however, has never always been, it's not always been this big. So it was created in 2012 when Zendesk was still a ticket tracking system. The internationalization team was established by one engineer that hired the first internationalization quality engineer. It was in between 2012 and 2017 that the internationalization team grew outside the US to bridge the collaboration gap between the internationalization team and the engineering teams that were starting to be established in Europe, for example. In 2017, the localization and the localization team was created, and it was placed under program management. So for the first time, internationalization was separated into 2 teams, localization and internationalization, and internationalization remained under engineering. In 2019, something very important for the wider team happened. The localization team was moved under product management. When I say it was something quite important, it's because that provided the team with an even more increased visibility on the life cycle of products. In 2020, it's when the localization and internationalization teams joined forces together and they became what we know today, the globalization team, which is still, as of today, led by the same internationalization quality engineer that was the first starter and is today a senior director.
Next, engineering team at Zendesk. So engineering team is mainly responsible for building and maintaining the software that actually powers our customer-facing products. We have a geo-distributed team of engineers. The ever-growing engineering team currently we have 1,400 plus engineers with 175 plus Scrum teams. We have our physical offices with 8 countries and 7 different time zones. But apart from our physical presence, we also have a larger presence of our remote employees throughout the globe, adding to even more different time zones. Next, we are going to talk about some of the challenges that we face in our day-to-day operations, such as localization awareness. Localization awareness is a constant challenge. The main focus is always to release the products to the market, like why it is important. Usually products are not globalized at the feature development. The localization scope is deprioritized because a lot of engineering teams are working on other higher priority features. Next, with ever-growing engineering teams. So as our company is growing and the demand for our products, we have a lot of new engineering teams to support this growth. So there is varied levels of understanding between teams for our best practices or localization workflows. Even localization value is different between these teams. So what we observe is some products have more issues than the others, which also in turn affects our product globalization aspects. Continuing with the same challenge, like as we are adding our engineering teams who are developing more features pretty quickly, so it's difficult for us to scale up or to support their needs. So sometimes we have limited projects visibility with upcoming projects where we are not able to engage with those teams and the features are releasing without localization. Next, varied approaches. As we are all are following agile practices, but having different execution approaches or different deployment schedules. For example, some product teams have a shorter sprint cycles of 2 weeks, but other teams might have a larger 4-week sprint cycles. So it creates an overhead for localization team to support these teams individually with their own operating models. And last, some general localization constraints such as localizability issues where strings are hard-coded and not externalized, layout issues such as truncation or concatenation issues, and also supporting complex RTL layouts. So do you identify or relate with any of these challenges? Next, Ketty would be sharing how we have mitigated these challenges with some of our solutions.
Thank you. So in case you have found any of these challenges to resonate with your situation, we really hope that the following solutions can help you mitigate these challenges just like they're helping us. So the first category of solution is about engaging. As Zendesk, we found that it's extremely important to have our upper management really engaged right from the get-going of any product development to identify where the globalization team can support with their efforts to achieve optimal localized content. Our upper management is really involved in high-level stakeholder conversations to agree what are the terms to influence and educate our stakeholders when it comes to localization. At the same time, this upper management engagement is always backed up with data about localization. So information such as how many customers are using our products in languages that are not English, and above all, what is the revenue that is generated from non-English speaking customers. When it comes to engineering, it's really important to be there whenever the engineers join Zendesk. So they go through a process of onboarding right from the very first days. And the globalization team is present in those onboardings, just with a simple slide to explain what is the mission of the team and to give a snapshot of how they will be collaborating with localization and globalization. At the same time, we also prepare and engage in tailored presentations, what we also call refreshers, to strengthen the knowledge of the engineering and wider product teams when it comes to globalization. So in such presentations, which are mainly addressed to individual Scrum teams or to new joiners specifically, we present information such as what is the mission and the importance of the globalization team in the wider organization, how we interact with different stakeholders in the product development pipeline, also how strings should be extracted to avoid serious issues when it comes to localizing the content. We also show some of the most common bugs and ways, and we provide some insights to ways of overcoming those issues. Zendesk also organizes a tech summit once a year. It's an opportunity for product managers of the wider product organization and the engineering team to meet up and share talks and presentations with each other. The globalization team tries to be present with some presentations every year, and we've been talking about collaborations, but also some of the most interesting technologies that we've been employing, such as machine translation. Um, every 6 months, something a bit more lighthearted and entertaining, we share the globalization newsletter with the wider organization. So with key stakeholders, we share information such as who has joined our team and also some important achievements of the wider globalization team. And also we include a small paragraph about globalization because we never miss the chance to remind everybody about our mission and the scope of our job. So Sirisha will be presenting another category of solutions now.
Thank you, Ketty. So after engaging with the product and engineering teams, we also support them throughout our product development stages. Let's see how. So we team up with our internationalization or IT&N team. So we have a dedicated IT&N team who looks after the global readiness of our products, who also help maintain and manage our translation management tools. They provide education and to our engineers with any IT&N related issues or international coding issues or any localization best practices. So for example, incorporating CLDR local data into the products or how to fix any IT&N related issues with the product or how to set up any repos for translations. Also, we involve internationalization team to solve any complex design challenges. For example, in one of our product where we had a complex design involving multiple languages, support across multiple product integration. So IT&N team was involved to help design and development teams. Next, process documentation is very essential to our team. It acts as a point of reference and can be shared across the teams. Given we have a geo-distributed teams, we take this to our advantage to create consistent workflows. We try to document everything, targeting product, engineering, design teams, and as well as for ourselves. Next, we also have a dedicated communication channels. This is like tailored support. So if the product teams wanted to reach or have a separate request related to products or be it creating project related discussions or to reach out to the language experts directly. So, and many more, like we have different channels to reach out and cater to separate requests. Next, I'm going to share a key solution that we implement at Zendesk is how localization or we have involved or embedded ourselves into each and every stage of product development cycle, right from the discovery to release. In discovery phase, we try to learn about the feature who is the team, and what are the project challenges and any project milestones. So we actually build upon our localization strategy during this time. Apart from that, we also engage in feature renaming or international suitability or international research. For example, for one of our products, Zendesk Gather, we were consulted to review the international suitability of the product name in other languages, because usually Zendesk product names are not translated. So we engaged with language experts to provide the international feedback to the product managers, which actually help them to find a suitable name. Next, in design phase, we work very closely with UX and content designers to review the designs and provide their feedback as early as possible in the cycle, such as layout issues or any design challenges, such as some designs are like very English centric. They work really well on English UI, but not suitable on other languages. For example, there is an English expression which is not clearly translatable into other languages. So we provided this feedback, which helped design team to change it to a more meaningful language. We also provide best practices during this review, such as not using text embedded with the images, or not using initials with the icons, because certain locales languages doesn't use, certain cultures do not use initials. During development stage, we regularly check the English strings for any source content, source context issues or any localizability issues. We check the source commenting to see if there is enough contextual information provided to the translators, such as do not translate lists, or if using placeholder values, then need to have a clear placeholder names so that it provides enough context to the translators if we are using any screenshots or not, whether a string is a noun or a verb, like that. So during this stage, we also control churn by identifying the working strings and not sending them to the translation. Apart from the reviews, we also look at the progression of the product development during this stage, and we try to plan our downstream activities such as translation and testing efforts during this stage. Next, during translation, we try to supervise the quality by doing random checks of our translation quality. We also answer any context-related questions by the translators during this stage. In validation, we do internationalization testing and linguistic testing to verify the localized product is working as expected. And in the last rollout phase, we do one last round of regression testing before releasing the product. Next, Ketty will be sharing our next solution.
Thank you. So final category of solution would be teaming up. So the first strategy for teaming up is that we've encountered and we found is to have a centralized string database. The internationalization team, as Sirisha briefly mentioned, owns and maintains this database that stores all the English UI copy and also its translations. This has a double effect. First, it makes it very easy for the globalization team to have control over the strings across all the products that are managed at Zendesk, but also it gives some peace of mind to the engineering teams to that they basically rely on the globalization team to manage and update translations. We also work with a fixed localization schedule, which allows for more regular, more manageable translation jobs and makes it easier for the localization team to handle translation projects. This reduces the number of last minute and urgent requests to the minimum, and it also allows the engineering teams to know exactly when some of the translations that they have recently added will be made available in the centralized string database. Another important strategy within teaming up is early localization QA. These, by running some quality assurance, both internally and with vendors, way ahead of the release of the product, we are in a position to identify the most pressing issues related to functionality, UI, and also language, and to fix them before the release. However, it's not, of course, always possible for the engineering teams to fix all the bugs at the same time that have been reported to them. So we, as the localization team, we provide the engineering team with some prioritization to every bug that is reported to them. So this will allow them to know exactly which bugs will have to be tackled as a matter of priority before release. It will also ensure that the localization team will also reassure the localization team that the most pressing bugs will actually be fixed before release. Last but not least, closing the loop. It's essential. So it's very important to analyze the data that has been gathered by the bugs reporting to identify trends and to identify the most recurring issues. And we do so by, of course, looking at the reports and also identifying some ways that we can implement to help the teams so that these issues will not occur again. And something that we really enjoy as Zendesk is the idea of the one team approach. So the idea is to have the localization team really embedded in every Scrum team that we work with. And we do so by attending some team meetings, but sometimes also attending some planning meetings and also attending joint testing sessions. In this scenario, you would have the English team working on testing the English UI and in parallel, the localization team testing the internationalized versions of that. Zendesk in general, it's all about investing in good relationships, but in the localization team, we really take that to heart and we partner with the key stakeholders of the entire product organization to identify those perfect synergies that will allow us to achieve better results. And something that we found very important as well is to engage in social activities by just teaming up with the engineering teams. So finally, some takeaways. We would like to wrap up by reminding that it's extremely important to engage early as possible in the process of localizing by having the upper management really on your side to set the way for the best practices of localization. And at the same time, explaining the why. So backing up the importance of localization with data. Second is also providing the support, ensuring that whatever stakeholder you support, whether it's the engineering teams or any other stakeholder, you are there to give them guidance on localization and on its importance and providing the tools. So ensuring that the channel of communication is always open and that you're always available to answer questions and providing all the documentation that it's needed for them. Embedding in every stage, it's equally important. So it's crucial to identify the critical points in which the localization team should be involved in the development phase and be present within in those moments to help achieve best practices at every single stage. And last but not least, the importance of investing in good relationships. We've really found that by working closely with the engineering team, there are more chances that localization is not going to be an afterthought, because they will, whenever they're going to think about localization, they're going to think about that team member that helped them in achieving better goals. So really invest in good relationships. So we'd like to close with saying thank you so much, and it was a pleasure to present, and we hope we'll get some answers and some questions that we will be able to help with some answers. Thank you.
Thank you.